which one would you be?
Oh, Doctor Who.
Yeah!
Seemingly endless regenerations, a TARDIS, a super hot companion.
A weird, like, am I allowed to have sex with her or can't I relationship?
Oh, they're totally. The Doctor and the companion have totally banged. They had to.
No, he bangs the TARDIS.
That, like, has anybody been watching the new season? That, like, weird vagina console that, like, they stick their hands into? Was the weirdest thing.
I mean, that's the ultimate answer for the Doctor. You can do anything if you're the Doctor.
Yeah, anything.
That plot device of the TARDIS can erase all your mistakes. You can have fun.
The TARDIS is
Let's take the Doctor off the table.
Yeah.
Right, let's just take him off the table. What else?
One guy's so pumped. He's like,
Finally, we take the Doctor out of the equation.
Who's your favorite Doctor?
My pediatrician.
Doctor Who!
I don't know if anyone watches Arrow. I'd be Green Arrow before he was like, I don't want to kill people. That's my favorite version. So that's what I would do.
I'm gonna go with I love Adventure Time. I would love to be Jake. Because that's like, isn't this the embodiment of all the things we wanted to do as a child? Just run around and just do adventures and go on quests and stuff. To be able to shapeshift like Jake and F a unicorn, that's great.
Well, if we're sticking with the cartoon theme, then I'd like to be Morty from Rick and Morty. Even though it would be like a nightmare every day, I like that kind of insanity anyway, so I would be totally at home with that.
I like that you just nixed his answer though. Like just screwed him. Well, just so you know, that girl keeps turning around because you're like right behind her. It's so weird.
What's going on?
The girl that's in front of you.
I'm not even.
You're like ninja-ing her.
How you doing? Am I bothering you? I'm not be bothering you.
I better not be
You want to make something happen?
I was trying to wingman.
I got a whole team over here. All the guys.
Alright, I'll say my board real quick. Just because I like to find out, let's get back to the Doctor. Favorite Doctor? Eccleston. Tennant. Smith. Polly.
too soon to tell.
The first one ever. John Hurt.
Well, John Hurt's great. The War Doctor.
Amy Pond.
I'd like to take a dive in her pond.
Yes, I would. I'd take the swimmer's itch from her.
I'd hop around on her lily pad.
I'd give her the frog.
I'd put my penis in her vagina.
Yeah.
With her consent.
We're married.
Oh my god, are you wanting him?
Hello. Are you sure he's doing all right?
We're patting down right now, Will.
This is Andrew from Maple. Before I ask my question, I just want to say that you guys are all gentlemen and scholars. Right now.
Oh! Actual scholars would disagree with you.
You just insulted a whole group of people.
Scholars.
Gentlemen are pretty upset too.
Gentlemen are upset. They'll let it slide.
My question is, what is the worst experience you ever had on a plane?
I feel like for Steve it's like every time.
Well, progressively it gets better for me. Mine's probably the least exciting of all the guys' stories, I'm sure. But I just flew for the first time recently, like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. Hey. Thank you. What? Okay.
was like every now and then just one person would say something. It's the same one person.
I battled this anxiety of flying, and my wife helped me overcome it. And by flying to Vegas from Los Angeles for the first time, which was only like a 30-minute flight, so I was terrified because it was my first experience flying. And everyone's like, whenever I would ask someone, what's it like flying? What's it like? Everyone would be like, oh man, come on, it's just like a roller coaster.
What plane are these people?
It's like, wait a minute, I don't like roller coasters. Is there something else it's like that I like? And that's pretty much what I got out of that before I got on. And so I was anticipating this kind of intense roller coaster type experience. And I guess maybe what they were referring to was the initial like takeoff, like just kind of that intense pushback before you fly. But yeah, I mean, my first time was pretty terrifying. I remember every little bump in the air. I was like, this can't be like a rock in the road. This would be run over a raccoon. Look at this bee. Why are there air bumps? I don't get it. But yeah, after that, I think it's gotten easier for me every time. The flight here was like terrifying, actually. I forgot where I was flying through because I was like in and out of like groggy sleep, but like it got really bumpy for a while there. And there were people. It's just funny to see everyone's heads kind of like moving like this, and like some people are just reading and like not reacting at all. I just find that hilarious. It's like I'm freaking out. There's just this guy reading Maze Runner.
Back in like 1987, some guy was in the back of the plane watching the same thing, and he's like, bobbleheads.
That's my worst experience, I guess, the first time.
Yeah,
It's kind of great.
I mean, I would say, oh, you guys stealing? I would say the turbulence doesn't bother me anymore. I think it's just the landing. The landing freaks me out. I think my worst experience was, I forget where, I think I was going into New York, and they had to deviate the landing twice. Which if you don't know, it's like, oh, there's the ground, we're gonna land, and then they just pull up. Shit, and then they just didn't say anything.
Psych! Oh my god.
And like, like the first time you're like, okay, maybe there's like a lane. The second time you're like, we have wheels, and I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm definitely afraid of landing and takeoffs. I'm not a religious person, but I always sneak in one of these.
You're just like, touching it everywhere.
That's how it works, right?
I just like that, like, if there is a God, he's like, you got another wire.
But I mean, that's at least kind of logical, because they say that, like, statistically where the things could go wrong are more in the takeoff and landing. So, like, that's kind of, that's more okay to be afraid of, I think.
Yeah.
Than it is to be in the air.
Yeah, that and I hate night flights, just because there's that, like, red dot that's blinking, and I can't help but, like, stare at it. And I'm like, God.
Do you feel like there's something on the wing sometimes?
Like that Twilight Zone.
That thing is so stupid, by the way.
Taking up
Have you guys seen that? You guys know what we're talking about, right? There's a Twilight Zone. I remember watching that again, and the thing's like the stupidest looking monster I've ever seen.
Is it John Lithgow?
No, that's the movie. That's the Twilight Zone movie. In the show, it's Shatner, and the monster is just some guy in like a big sweatsuit. Like, you have to look it up.
He's like his neighbor.
Yeah, it's just some gardener guy. It's just in a sweatsuit. He's like, hilarious.
I've had my fair share. Like this one time, the only movie they played was The Wedding Planner.
Gross.
No, but I've had like where we hit so hard that when we landed, that my back hurt for a week.
Wow.
And we just slammed and kind of bounced and then came back. I've had one where we were just like coasting at altitude or whatever, and then out of nowhere it was like 10,000 feet. Just fucking fell. Again, didn't say anything about it.
Oh yeah.
I would say my worst personal experience. I had actually two, so I'll do two real quick. The worst one that was actually like a malfunction. I was traveling to LA for Grass and Greta stuff, and we're all just sitting there, we're like flying flying over Vegas or something at some point. We're flying back up to Spokane, Washington.
Typical Vegas.
And all of a sudden, everybody starts smelling smoke.
Oh,
We're just like, what's going on? And then we're looking at the stewardesses and they're talking back and forth, and everybody's like starts whispering up and like, it's in the back, it's coming from the back. And then we see the stewardesses again, and they're going talking back and forth even faster, and they get on to like, everything's fine, but we're just gonna make a little stop. So, you know, whenever you turn in a plane, it's like you go over 17 counties, it's just like this. All of a sudden we're flying and we go, it was the most bang, like, you know, like when you're in a car and you do corners, we did a corner in a freaking plane. It was the worst. And we end up landing, they don't tell us anything, we end up on another thing. But that was bad, but my nightmare actually involved a nightmare. I fell asleep on a plane once, and I had a lucid dream that I was on a plane. And the plane went down. The whole thing, a fire started, everybody's freaking out, and I'm just not waking up, so I'm experiencing the whole thing. In the dream, we hit the freaking ground. That's when I woke up, so it was... like looking at the guy next to him, like, are you freaking dead?
This is John Locke, and he's like, don't tell me what I can't do!
I'm sitting here still freaking out. Steve's hair goes, he's still asleep on the other side. So of course, I was like your level of anxious flying for like 2 years after that because I felt like I crashed in a plane. It was the worst.
Yeah, that's pretty terrifying. I want no part of that.